Okay, while we're waiting for that pork to colour and get ready for the get ready to braise it, we'll move on now to a little chicken recipe, which now I've explained to you. I don't like butter, and you can do this with butter. In fact, a lot of people do. But this turns a simple roast chicken, and all I've done is I've got a chicken, standard chicken, nothing special. I've taken the wing tips off, just because they get caught in on the bed of the breast and stop it colouring, because I like the skin to be crispy. And I've washed the inside and removed all of the giblets, you know, which is the heart, liver, lungs, bones and so on, whatever. And all I'm going to do now is take my hands and go between the skin and the meat, and I'm going to start to separate. So if you watch what I'm doing, just taking off the... You've got to be careful that you don't break it. And all I have to the right of me here are two types of cheese. I have a Romano and Parmesan cheese. And again, you can use anything. Now, some people, they use butter to put in the garlic, so you can get a herb butter. Put some of your favourite herbs and do the same thing with butter. But for me, I like the cheese. It's weird that I don't like butter actually, because I've never, since I was 9, and I'm 47 now, so it's too late to change. But cheese is fine for me, and butter isn't. So that's why I use the cheese. Now all I'm doing is I'm going right down now the breast, and just with my fingers separating, and then I'm going to try and get into as much of the leg as I can. And you have to be careful, you don't want to go through the skin, because then you'll start to have the cheese leak. And the idea of this is, and again you can do it if you're roasting a turkey for Christmas or Thanksgiving. I mean, doing this with a herb butter is probably the best way to keep the bird cooking nice and will keep the moisture of the bird quite even, because as usually happens with a chicken or a turkey, in cooking the legs you dry out the breast. So I've gone right down as far as I can go in the breast now. I don't want to go right out the back here, because again it will fall out. I'm getting around the legs, you can see, in there, and on this side. Now, some people put garlic in. Now, a little word of caution with garlic. The garlic can end up tasting raw or not cooking properly. And if you're going to put garlic in, you might want to saute it very gently first to start the cooking process. Because what you don't want is a raw tasting garlic at the end of it all. So here is just now filling that with the cheese. Again, this is so simple. I mean, anybody can do this. You don't have to be any form of chef or cook to do something like this. It's just a very simple technique that turns a plain roasted chicken into something that tastes quite special. Now, that's about the cheese that I'm going to use for this. I could probably use a bit more. Now you can tie it if you wish, but for me this is a fairly, in fact I probably will tie it, because I want to keep all that cheese in there. So we'll get some string here. And now, to all you chefs out there waiting to crucify me for how my chicken tying technique, I really don't know the correct way, or do I care. Just that I seal this thing up and I go around in like a figure of 8 under here, and then I just tie around the back, and that just keeps the legs nice and tight. Now you would want to put the wings in to do it absolutely correctly. So you can just slot now the wings, what's left of them, because I've taken the tips off, up here. Now, I don't add salt to this dish because it's, and the reason I'm not washing my hands in this sink, which I should have done, is because I've got some fish in there for the next recipe. So that's again. The cheese is very salty, so I don't add salt to this dish at all. If you want to at the end, you can. But for me, it's a little bit of oil to help crisp that skin. and some black pepper. So, there's your chicken ready for the oven, and I shall put that in, move our belly pork down a level. Those of you in the kitchen should now smell the onions from the pork. That chicken will go in for about an hour, hour 15. Again, you check it, juices run clear, same temperature, 375. And there is another simple recipe. A quick refreshment. Oh, we're empty, we better change that in a minute. Now, because my friends here today who are filming and bringing this stuff to us, or to you, are carb-tastic lovers, I have to give them something to go with their Parmesan chicken. So we're going to do some potatoes. Now, you hear these terms like crushed new potatoes, baked potatoes, boiled potatoes, whatever. All these I've parboiled these for about 10 minutes. So they're nice and soft. So technically they're cooked, they're virtually cooked. And I'm just breaking them in my hand. And I'm going to fry them in extra virgin olive oil, which means gently. Okay, and I've got the pan heating up. I don't want this pan too hot because the oil then will just heat too quickly. So I'm just breaking the potatoes up, and this will crisp. The outside of the potatoes will crisp. They'll taste really good, and I'm going to fry them because I'm here in America and my American friends love green beans. So I have to give them some green beans, which now these green beans while I'm here, I've just blanched, which means I've put them in hot water for about 2 to 3 minutes. As soon as I've taken them out, I've rinsed them under cold water to stop the cooking process. Otherwise they'll overcook and they'll just go to mush. So here are the potatoes now pretty much broken up. And okay. I've also got some fresh thyme, which I'm going to add to the cooking. So now I use this brand of virgin olive oil, which is a Greek olive oil, and if you cook this nice and slowly, it gives a beautiful flavour. But I will warn you, if you overcook this, then the taste changes completely. And I use quite a lot of it. So into the pan, and you're not looking for this huge great sizzle when you put it in. I need some more actually because that's not enough. You're looking for a gentle frying process, and you can see that there's nothing sizzling in there, or very gently. I'll take some more. Now my Mediterranean friends and my Arabic friends, they literally will drown these potatoes in oil, and you can do the same. But this is what I do. A little bit of salt, and again there's no measurement, you just look at it. A little bit of pepper, and I have these 2 salt and pepper containers here. It's a lot easier to use than running for salt cellars and everything else. Now if you wanted to fry these at a higher temperature and get them really crisp, then switch to the peanut oil. But for me this is called lapas. I got this from a Whole Food store. It's beautiful flavour, it's a Greek olive oil. I'm not saying the others aren't any good, it's just that I like this one. So we just cook them gently until they start to colour. Then we'll add the beans, because they're partially cooked. And then towards this about the same time as the beans, we'll add the herbs, and then you've got the whole dish. Again, extremely simple. Now, for you carb lovers, be my guest. For you low carbers out there, look, if 1 potato equals 25 grams, okay, then maybe this section is all you need to eat. The difference when you sit down to your chicken and potatoes and greens is that you do not feel you're being denied any food. So you can eat with your family. This is a family dish. Put the potatoes in the middle, chop the chicken up. You've got the beans with the potatoes, so we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone there. We've got some vegetables, we've got some greens, and we've got some potatoes. And we finish it with some olive oil over the top, which gives it a nice little sauce. Yeah. So the refreshments are back. Remembering, of course, the vital rule of cooking, just keep the wine glass pretty much over halfway. Now it's time for some thyme. And the blanched green beans. And you can see the potatoes, look, they're crunchy, there's crispy bits. All we've got to do now is cook the beans the last second. Okay, that one's out. And to do that, I turn the heat right down low, put the lid on, and they will steam for about 2 to 3 minutes and they're cooked.